When something goes wrong on your boat, you have a group of required items that will help save the day. They are required to be kept on your boat at all times. The items laid out in front of me here are a few of the items depending on the length of your boat. You may need more of them. We'll go into it a little bit of exactly what's required. Today I'll be talking about how to maintain these, what to look for, and how to know if they are the proper gear to be on your boat or not. My name is Max Rudolph. I'm in the Coast Guard, and once again I'm here to talk about the required safety gear on board your vessel. The safety gear laid out here is one of the most important aspects of boating. If you do not have it, you could be subject to fines and or arrests, but worse off, your life could be in jeopardy because you don't have the proper gear. A great resource to review this gear is uscgboating.org. The most important thing is a life jacket or a personal flotation device. This is one of the forms of it. You want to look to make sure that the buckle works properly, everything opens up. It's got a U.S. Coast Guard approval number, there's no rips or tears in the life jacket, and it fits properly for the intended wear. Another thing to do with the life jacket is to ensure that it's not stored wet, because it could degrade the overall life of the life jacket. According to the Coast Guard, 84.5% of drownings occur when a person is not wearing a life jacket, so you can see the importance of having one. The National Association of State Boating Law Administrators also reports that a life jacket will increase your chances of survival by 80%. Another form of life jacket is the throwable type. It's going to have the same Coast Guard approval number on the back, but it's just got two straps and it can be thrown if somebody falls off your boat and you need to respond quickly. Even if you are wearing life jackets, but there are no other boats in the area, what happens? In this case, you have flares. There are two different types of flares. You have a projectile type flare, which you take one flare out of the carabiner, push it forward, put it in, drop it, and fire up into the air. So on the flares, you'll be looking for the U.S. Coast Guard approval number, and then to make sure that it's not within, or it's within the expiration. Another form of flare is your handheld type flares. These have the same expiration date on the side, but they're not seen quite as far as the aerial type flares. These you'll just pull the cap off and hold it up in the air. If there are boats in the area and you want to be able to get a hold of them quickly, you have a audible distress signal, which is a horn or a whistle on board your boat. It's important to have an extra whistle or horn because generally the horns break first on a boat. The last thing that you're required to have is a fire extinguisher. Most importantly, check to make sure that it's good and serviceable every time before you leave the dock. You'll just push down, it should pop right up. The other type of fire extinguisher will have a gauge on the front and it'll show whether or not if it's in the green, it's good to go. If it's in the red, it's no good. This, you just pull the pin and discharge the fire extinguisher. Lastly, it's important to have a VHF radio on board your vessel. At all times, you should be monitoring channel 16, which is the International Hailing and Distress frequency. So if you're in distress, you just call Mayday or let somebody know what's going on in your position over the radio, and generally the Coast Guard will respond to it. Or you have a distress button on your radio that also works just as effectively. So once again, these are some of the different required safety gear on board your vessel. It's important to ensure every time before you leave the dock that all of this is good and serviceable so that one day if you need it, it'll save your life.
Sound 5 minutes? 3.2 minutes.
5, 20?